we're going to be adopting you. Oh my gosh, it's happening. Okay, one moment, let me get ready. The year is 2012, or earlier, or later. I don't know how you ball, but for me, the year is 2012. You hate reading and your English teacher is just begging you to please read To Kill a Mockingbird. But you only know Kidnapped by Mafia member Harry Styles. One shot. You come home from school and open an app that holds treasure. Treasure of grammar mistakes, unfinished stories that you didn't know were unfinished until it was too late. So many messy buns, leggings, oversized hoodies, reading at parties, and screaming at your phone just wishing for the main characters to communicate. I, of course, am talking about Wattpad. I have always had a love-hate relationship with Wattpad. It wasn't easy to find a story that checked off all your boxes. But when you did, ooh, but when you did. For those of you who may not know, Wattpad was started in 2006 by developers Alan Lau and Ivan Yuen with a vision to change the way we share stories. They wanted to make an app that made distributing the work of aspiring writers a lot more possible. It wasn't until 2011 or 2012 that the platform expanded rapidly, becoming a safe space for many, racking up billions of minutes that users were reading per month, creating careers, award nominations. Wattpad was basically becoming unstoppable, and it only kept growing throughout the years. You don't really hear about it that much anymore though, unless it's in a nostalgic sense or someone is telling you where to not read your fan fiction. And because of that, I want to explore the rise and fall of Wattpad together. Before that though, today's video is sponsored by MeUndies. Has anyone else realized that gift giving season is already here? If you have not started your list yet, do not panic. MeUndies has your back and your butt. MeUndies is making it ridiculously easy to win the holidays this year. Whether you're shopping for a partner, bestie, or just treating yourself, their holiday and Match Me collection is making it simple to give a gift that actually fits. Literally and emotionally. MeUndies is the go-to for unbelievably soft underwear and loungewear made from ultramodal, that's fancy speak for cloud level comfort. Plus they're sustainably made, which you don't come across often anymore, so your holiday giving can feel good and do good. I was so generously sent these two pairs, and not only are they adorable and go great with all my tattoos, but they're so breathable and cozy. I'm most definitely going to be getting a few different pairs since they will make great stocking stuffers for my family. My friend and her BF will absolutely love the matching set that I get them, and I'll be getting a few pairs for myself as well. Knock out all of your holiday gift giving needs today with MeUndies. To get exclusive holiday deals up to 50% off, go to MeUndies.com/AllieT and enter promo code AllieT. That is MeUndies.com/AllieT, promo code AllieT for up to 50% off. Happy holidays, and let's get on with it. I'ma be real. Hi, you wanna say hello? When I'm talking about Wattpad, I'm talking about the fan fiction side of Wattpad. There is a whole other fascination that people have in terms of the novels posted on there, but it was not my playground. I was 11 when I first started using Wattpad, and always remember seeing these beautiful ball gown, dramatic book covers with hundreds of thousands of views, and then right next to it was a crappy, blurry Tumblr picture. My cat's walking across the screen. And then right next to it, a crappy, blurry Tumblr picture with the title "Rawr, I'm a Vampire," and that's the one that I clicked on. Kitty, 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 kitty. My Wattpad journey started with YouTubers. I was so deeply in love with O2L in 2012, but when I wasn't reading that, I would read about Austin Mahone, Deep Cut, Justin Bieber, and of course, two words I have to describe the main starting growth of Wattpad. One Direction. Fanfiction existed on the app before that. Duh. Harry Potter and Twilight absolutely had it down. Okay. But out of the several people that I asked, One Direction was one of the first things they were reading about on Wattpad. So basically the gateway drug. Okay. I read so many stories about getting adopted by One Direction. It's insane. I wanted to be an orphan so bad. There is so much trauma, right, that goes into being an orphan. Hold on, I'm not laughing at orphan. I'm laughing and so confused as to why I, a 13-year-old who was raised in beautiful homes, right? And up until that point, I had a great family life, and yet I was so excited to delve into the world of being an orphan, adopted by so many men. Oh my God. Hello. Let's talk about that. Actually, the logistics. Could a group of men actually adopt you? Quick answer, no. I think. All of the research and science I'm going to be doing is based off of adoption requirements in England. Because let's be for real, we're talking about One Direction here, okay? The age requirement to adopt is 21. We have Harry, who is 19, Niall, who is 19, Liam, who is 19, Zayn, who is 20, and ding, 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 Louis, who is a 20. With my well-researched data, which actually I didn't specify. Hold on. I just realized I forgot to specify. We're going off the year of 2013. You are probably very confused that whole time. Which means in this lineup, only Louis would have been able to adopt you in 2013. Home requirements. You can rent or own as long as it is stable. Are a group of boys ages 19 to 21 who are always recording, doing interviews, shows, you know, on tour every year. Would that be considered stable? Yeah, I think so. Finances. You cannot be considered low income in order to adopt. Baby. We're talking about One Direction here. Big old check. Health. Yeah. Pretty good. So chat, you know what that means. In 2013, our boy Louis Tomlinson could have legally adopted you. Probably. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm also not talking out of my ass when I say One Direction is to thank for Wattpad getting so huge when it did. April 2013 would make history as one of the most iconic and well-known fan fictions would be published on Wattpad. Whether you liked One Direction or not, at some point you probably heard about this story. Anna Todd's After. Complicated love story between bad boy Harry Styles and goody two-shoes Tessa Young. People loved this book. I was reading this book as updates were coming out, but many heavily criticized it because it romanticizes abusive relationships and portrays Harry Styles as a piece of shit. Harry, where are you going? I'm gonna ignore you for a little bit because you sneezed wrong. And not only that, but I'm angry. I thought of you with another man, even though we're not dating. Why would you do that? Anyways, be back in 5 to fuck. Okay, baby, see you in 5. This book's popularity eventually led to a series consisting of 5 books, as well as movie adaptations with some interesting reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. So to make it legal, I assume, I probably should have done research on that, but I'm gonna assume to make it legal, the author changed Harry Styles' name to Harden in the published copies. It would be kind of insane if they just, like, kept his name.
What are you doing here?
I was worried about you.
Harry Styles. The whole plot is pretty much cheating, fighting, sex, cheating. Maybe they'll figure it out, sex. A few months after Sony recognized how insanely popular One Direction was becoming on the platform. And so they partnered with Wattpad to release 5 Valentine's Day one-shots with members of the band, commissioning user LD Cretan, who has 3.9 million reads on it today. What is oh my god, wrong class. What is a one-shot, you may be asking? Actually, if you don't know what a one-shot is, how did you find this video? I mean, please stay and subscribe while you're at it. Do you think I'm cute or something? Is that why you're here? Anyways, Sorry. A one-shot is a short story compiled into one chapter so that you can read it in a single sitting. Fanfiction was starting to slowly become mainstream, but kind of in little sprinkles. So 50 Shades of Grey was a published book in 2011, but was a Twilight fanfiction in 2009, originally called Master of the Universe. Very fanfiction title. But there was still this blanket feeling of shame, and honestly, there still is when it comes to the concept of reading fanfiction. I used to love the fact that I could technically say I was reading fat chapter books. But when they asked what it was, the fear set in. Oh, you know, it's just something online. Not about becoming a 5-sauce groupie or anything. What? The main character is definitely not getting kidnapped for the 80th time. That would not be appropriate. The biggest thing though was that it was free. Granted, most things were kind of free online back then or really affordable, and there wasn't an ad checkpoint for breathing like we have today. So you have a platform, right? Starting to target young people who have so much passion for different types of entertainment that they want to get readable content about, and a whole variety of creative writers with a buttload of time. In 2014, they were getting around 100,000 new users per day, while continuing to collaborate with companies like 20th Century Fox to promote The Fault in Our Stars, and commissioning more authors to write on the platform, which bring more readers. They wanted to prioritize community first, money second. They raised $46 million to put into the development of monetization in the future, such as stories that are behind a paywall, Wattpad Studio, and Wattpad Originals. Wattpad Studio started in 2016 with a goal of operating like an MCN, multi-channel network, in order to partner with Wattpad so your stories could make it to Hollywood. This led to 200 episodes of 40 Wattpad stories being produced in the Philippines, eventually leading to over 100 adaptations into media, such as the Kissing Booth movies, the After movies, and a bunch more that didn't do as well, but they're there and look like exactly what they are. Wattpad stories. To skip a few years, specifically in 2020, there was another popularity spike because of the pandemic. But news about Wattpad in terms of the rise kind of stops around 2016, 2017. Before we get into the fall, I really want to talk about the most iconic parts of Wattpad, in my opinion. The comments. Ooh. One line would have you absolutely distraught, and you'd look over to see 9,000 other people who are also gagged. And some people be cooking so hard, I fear. GTFO of my room before I karate chop your balls. Get your ugly looking bald grandma looking haircut ass out of here and take your grandpa with a bald spot with you, Karen. I agree with all of the comments. I agree with all of the comments below. I agree with the first 3 comments. I agree with the first 2 comments.
There was no original comment.
We are already in the club, so we broke. Sir, this is a McDonald's drive-thru. Hey! Something to also point out when it came to Wattpad authors, some catastrophic life-altering event was always happening and preventing them from updating. Hey guys, I know it's been 3 months. My entire family got eaten by a pack of wolves after my house burnt down and I got in 17 car accidents. I failed out of school and had to move to a shack in Ireland with my 97-year-old third uncle. I'll try to update soon. Sweetheart, you're so okay. I'm the one waiting to know if the twink falls for his high school bully. Also, when can you update them? The worst was then when you think you got an update just to see that it's an author's note about a loss of passion, or that they're just getting really bored with it, which, oh god. I get it. But also, you lost passion. Let's find it. I typically read stories all in one sitting. Didn't matter if there was 8 chapters, didn't matter if there was 130. I'll stay up till the sun's up. I'm good. I got time. I never had time. It was so fun reading till the sun came up. Like, I just felt so accomplished, even though I have to read them all in one sitting because my brain's so small. Brain, run out of storage, and brain needs to override stored info. If no override, brain gets overwhelmed and scared. When overwhelmed and scared, I slam my head in the oven. Either my interest in it completely dies or I genuinely forget. Of course, with Wattpad, we have all of the tropes. Tropes are so important to fanfiction culture. Hey, what book is that? You probably don't know this book. It's pretty advanced. Whoa, it makes you just look really mysterious as you read it at my concert. Absolute classic. You have the reading, of course. Messy buns, dead families, mafia. You know, the usuals. Fanfiction was really the only thing that ever got me to read. I can confidently say, and do not recommend YouTube, I do not recommend this. YouTube, I do not recommend this. I cheated or failed on every test in English class that revolved around us having to read a book. I would be on the test like, oh shit, no way he did that. The test was how I learned. I was a severely undiagnosed kid in a preppy private middle school. Education taunted me every second of the day. Maybe it was the fact that it was something I had complete control over what I could read, and something that I could immediately abandon if I didn't like it without wasting money. It was kind of a secret, you know what I mean? So it almost felt rebellious as a kid reading fan fiction. And the obvious, I guess, they were stories about my already had hyperfixations. And also just the community and the comments, and at the time when there was forums, that all made it so special. Even if the legacy of Wattpad ever dies, it'll live on for me as the one time I was ever able to successfully read. Anyways, let's get to the downfall. There was an obvious shift that happened in the late 2010s when it comes to the Wattpad community. In 2016, Wattpad introduced ads. And it wasn't just, oh, adding ads. It felt like every time you read a word, you were about to waste another 30 seconds of your life watching a Tide Pod ad. Not really, that's kind of dramatic. But there was an ad after every chapter, regardless of how short or long it was. And when you go from the drastic switch of building a platform and priding yourself on the lack of selling yourself to shoving ads down the readers' throats, it's a lot. In 2017, they then added a subscription service for $5.99, which could give you some freedom from the ads. And I can understand why they took this route, but I can also understand how drastic all of this was for readers who had been very loyal to the site for a really long time. But the main consensus was, of course, disappointment, because another safe space that was an escape from consumerism was taken over like everything else. As well as the ad shove, users began to feel like there was an algorithm change around 2018. Algorithm changes aren't usually publicly stated. These are just changes that users felt they were noticing. Wattpad really started to push their already popular stories and their paid stories, making it really hard to find new books and authors they might be interested in. Paid stories were introduced in 2018 with the concept of virtual coins you could pay for to unlock certain reads. At first, this concept was quite loved because it meant that Wattpad was going to be paying their creators, something they of course deserve. When money goes to author and Wattpad, people are happy. When money only goes to Wattpad, people get upset, including the authors. When ads play for 30 seconds after every chapter on every single book on Wattpad, and yes, that includes a 4-line author's note, and none of that goes to the creator, that's when people start to feel, myself included, that it's extremely distasteful. The only way that creators get profit from Wattpad is when they join the writer paid program, and even that gets messy. I really want to get into the creator paid program because I was getting angry.
I love my stories and did not want to lose any rights on them if I joined. So yeah, I've never actually received help but they do say they will, if you know what I mean. I was pissed when I was invited to join and realized it was just a scam to get you to work for free. I have been a member for over 10 years with over 30,000 followers, and my top story had 27 million reads, but have not received a penny. We are being used to bring in more traffic to the platform, but when it comes to helping authors grow as a writer, they denied this opportunity. From someone who was in it for 10 months and was Wadi shortlisted at the same time as being in the program, I had zero visibility while in the program, no promo. All I got was a profile banner that anyone could copy to say creator. That's it.
A lot of people never renew their contracts because of how used they felt for such little or no reward. Overall, many authors shared opinions that it was a waste of time and material, feeling like it took advantage of small creators while only benefiting the already successful authors. So not only were readers slowly becoming more and more disappointed in Wattpad, but now its own creators were becoming fed up. 2021 was a big year for Wattpad and a big year for users to get angry. The South Korean company called Naver, which owns Webtoon, bought Wattpad for an estimated price of $600 million. When they did that, the guidelines as to what can be posted on Wattpad became stricter. With the updates, Wattpad began deleting authors' stories with no warnings that they would be doing so, largely consisting of deleting smut, which was a huge portion of the platform. To prevent this from happening, you had to mark your story as mature. But older stories that had been on the platform before this partnership, and even after the partnership, stories marked as mature that the authors claimed to have followed guidelines on were taken down with no way of getting that work back. This caused a snowball effect of panic because users were noticing their favorite books disappear and popular artists were coming forward upset that they lost hundreds of hours of work. There were pros to this as they became stricter about illegal acts in stories involving children, animals, and consent. But I do think Wattpad would have avoided so much backlash if they had warned authors that it was going to be happening and that their projects were soon to be in jeopardy of being taken down and allowed for those authors to have time to edit them. Honestly, since the 2020s, I just don't hear about Wattpad anymore. Even when I was looking up stories for this video, it was just a ton of books coming up that were like 4+ years old. I'm very positive that there are definitely still amazing and talented artists on there, but I can for sure see why there has been such a decline in readers and writers when it comes to Wattpad. I wanted to do a good combo of praising Wattpad while also criticizing it pretty hard. So hopefully I did a good job in that. I wanted to feel nostalgic while also updating you about some of the just rough things they're on about these days. I'm very curious to hear if any of you happen to still use Wattpad, and if not, what do you use instead? And what are some of your crazy Wattpad experiences? The comment section is so open for anybody, and tons of discussion always happens down there. If you would like to follow me on any of my other socials, really I just use Instagram, to be honest. I don't use too much of other stuff. But also on my link tray I have my Discord server if you'd like to join that. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, and I will be seeing you very soon. Peace.